welcome to Louisville.
Thank
welcome
you.
Louder Than Life. So it's funny, you guys are now the third band from Massachusetts that I've talked to.
Oh, cool.
So it's been very interesting.
Talked to Highly Suspect?
Yep.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's got to be one of them.
Yep, I talked to Highly Suspect and I talked to Dead Poet Society.
Oh,
so
cool.
it's like Massachusetts is just ruling the entire festival right now. So it was funny because I've done the same thing with all of them. Just like a little quick fire thing of all things like Massachusetts and Boston. How do you feel about Dunkin'?
Loved it growing up.
Loved it growing up.
Yeah, the coffee's fine, the donuts,
Okay. Clam chowder.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it. All right. Red Sox.
Go Sox. We're not big sports people.
Not sports people. All right. And then I think it's the dangerous one. Is it I-93?
I-95.
95.
I-95. Okay.
And 93. They're
all shit.
Yeah.
Like traffic is always terrible, but like so. All right. I get it. Well, very different vibe here in Louisville. Less traffic for sure. But I do want to start out, since you're in the bourbon capital of the world, do you guys drink bourbon?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Do you have a favorite?
I really like Basil Hayden.
Okay. I'm here for it.
I like that
just
too.
Like whatever.
I'm down for like Knob Creek. I like Woodford Reserve, but all in all, I'm always interested in trying whatever's like smallest batch and like least available. I love like a rarity.
Yeah, like get like a single barrel. Like I just want to try this.
Totally. I like fancy booze that is not available most of the time.
I love it. So I know that they have the big bourbon bar here. It's all the way in the back of the festival. So if you are curious and you want to try any of it, like they have a ton of distilleries that are here. So you can try that out if you want to give it a shot. But it's always nice when, it's like you actually have people that are interested in bourbon when they come here. Like it is kind of an acquired taste sometimes, but it does make the welcome a little bit like more friendly.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't even know that existed here.
Really?
A bourbon bar. Yeah, no. I noticed there was like the word I know this was called like the bourbon room or something. Is that where we are right now?
Yeah, I mean, like we're in the bourbon capital. It's funny too because the festival last week was Bourbon and Beyond, like very like bourbon centered and everything. But now we have Louder Than Life, and we're gonna fucking throw down. We're gonna party and have a good time. So it's great having you guys back here in Louisville. So what's the vibe when it comes to festival setting versus just being out on the road and touring? Like it's a different atmosphere. So like what's going on in the back of your mind that's like you're like, all right, like we're at a festival, like here's what we have to do instead.
I feel like it's a mixed bag kind of no matter what, but we always are trying to sort of read our audience's energy in that moment and have a symbiotic flow with them depending on what feels right in the moment. And for a festival like this, we're a pretty eclectic band. We have a lot of very quiet material as well, a lot of very dynamic stuff, lots of time changes and existential dread afoot. But for festivals like this, we definitely lean on our heavier material because I know everyone came here to rock, and so we're happy to collaborate with that and serve it.
I love it, yeah. And I mean, it's interesting that, you point that out. It's like between all the different sounds that you have, like, it definitely makes for kind of a different, like, experience, like, every time that people can come and see you and, like, in different settings and everything. And I like that, the different sounds that you guys bring all the time with your music, and also like when you deal with like the cover song of like Pony, like being like kind of front and center of all of that, like how do all of those sounds like kind of influence what you're doing on that day-to-day basis, and also long term when you're like putting together a new album and everything?
Well, we're both passionate about a lot of different genres of music. We've played a lot of different types of music, and we don't really have any particular rules with what we do with the band. We try to play what actually inspires us and sort of bring all those influences together and be playful and truly play with it and see what wants to be played and say yes to that and say yes and kind of go with it, as opposed to trying to box yourself in to be a certain way.
Yeah. So tell me how you come to the decision where it's like, okay, well, we're going to cover Genuine, but then also on top of that, like with all of those influences that you talk about, like what other song would you want to cover in a similar capacity?
So we actually have a whole EP of covers that we did a few years ago, and that's kind of informed our ethos about covers, which is we like to take songs and definitely reimagine them through our own lens. In particular, Pony doesn't fit in this realm, but songs that there's room for it to be a little bit scary. Okay. Like we have a cover of Happy Together by the Turtles and Maybe One More Time by Britney Spears, and if you remove those songs from their sort of original production, there's really room to flip them on their head and make them a little bit threatening, and we really like to do that, do like total different reinterpretations of it.
I mean, it definitely makes it more fun, and like you said, I mean, like when you have the bare bones of something like that, you strip away all of the other stuff. It's like you get to have fun, and I think that's obviously the most important thing, is that you're enjoying like the entire process of that. So, you know, it's a lot of fun, and you know, one of the things that I like to ask every artist is, when you think about a headlining show, okay, you have your set list that you're putting together, you have staple songs, you know, you're going to throw in some new songs, like, you know, and like you're making that set list. What's a song that you wish you could put on the set list, but for some reason either it's too complex to piece together in a live show, or you don't have enough time? Like, what's something you wish you could put in, but it just barely misses the cut every time?
I think that's a really cool question. I want to hear Will's answer to that.
Well, personally, for me, the song would be Mud. Mostly just because it's one of my favorite songs to play. That was on a couple records ago, but I always felt that song was like the perfect encompass the band in its entirety, of like every different kind of weird thing we do, all in one song.
Okay. I think if you feel that way, we should bring it back.
I'd love to.
I'm into it. Mud's an interesting one because it's very instrumental. Yeah. A lot of it's very instrumental, but I like to play instrumental music, so that sounds cool.
There you go. See, I mean, why not put it back in the set and have some fun with it? I mean, that's what it's here for. So it's always interesting to get that reaction from bands, because like a lot of times, like you said, it's very instrumental. Or I talked to a lot of bands today where it's like, they're like, oh, well, it's a little bit too soft, and we don't want to bore the crowd or anything like that. So it's always fun to get that perspective. So make sure go and listen to Mud, and you might be able to see it live in the near future at one of the shows. But again, it's been fun having you guys here, and looking forward to the future and everything that's going to be coming up with you guys. But I appreciate you taking the time, sitting down, and like I said, go and check out the Big Bourbon Bar, and just enjoy yourselves and have some fun.
Awesome, thank you so much.
For sure, I appreciate it.